Welcome back to Irons United for our next preview show. This time we have, I don't know what you could call them, relegation dogfight, Cardiff City, with that man, that famous man, Neil Warnock, who is in charge of them. And West Ham travel all the way to Cardiff, Wales, and we're joined with a usual face. Look, that side, I'm Anton, of course. But we are welcoming some special guests all the way from the States. Tim, who's part of American Hammers TV. Tim, how are you doing, mate?
Awesome, man. Thank you guys so much for the support, too. Appreciate it.
Yep, no worries, mate. Listen, go for it. Let us, the fans, know who you are, where you're from, why West Ham. Give us a little bit of the story, the history.
Sure. So I'm about January, the end of January, I decided to start a YouTube channel because there wasn't really anything here for American West Ham fans. I wanted to help grow the fan base first and foremost here because I'm so sick of seeing Chelsea and Man U shirts and Man City shirts, or even, the glory hunting Leicester City shirts after they won the championship a couple years ago. They won a title. You'll see more and more of those. And there are a lot of plastic fake fans here, and I just wanted to unite all of the hardcore fans. There's a lot of, believe it or not, there's a lot of Brits that move over here and hardcore West Ham fans, and I'm just trying to help them form their own little supporters groups here, which there's a lot of them that are pretty big as well, like New York City and they're one of the originals, and Dallas and Tampa and all over the country really, in Fresno. We're actually having them on tonight. So the point was to just grow the American West Ham fan base first and foremost, and secondly, try to grow the supporters groups here so that they can have their own bars rather than sharing them with, a Liverpool bar or a Celtic bar or a Real Madrid bar, and just grow the atmosphere here so that when West Ham United does come back, the places will be sold out, in seconds. So that's my mission 100%.
Excellent. So what's your connection to West Ham, Tim, then? What you kind of gave us a brief rundown before we came on, but
yeah,
give the fans that are watching.
I needed a football team to follow, and I'm obsessive, man. Once I get behind something, I just go all in, and I researched all the history and everything else. So it was time to pick a football team. I did a little bit of family history and checked that, I do have family from East London, and as soon as I saw the crest, as soon as I saw the stadium, the bowling ground, the pictures of the stadium, and watched some of the games and so on, I felt like the colors especially. It's mine. It's home. I mean, I have a West Ham crest on my arm. I have Forever Blowing Bubbles tattooed on my arm. I'm super passionate about the club, and it was a no-brainer for me.
Yeah, love that. Absolutely love that. So, just for any of the fans that are watching, Tim runs American Hammers TV, which is just a new YouTube show related to everything he's just said. We'll put the links in the descriptions below, so you go across there, subscribe to the channel. 100% great content. And yeah, Tim, thanks very much for coming in. You're currently 30 minutes from Boston, just to give people a bit of a kind of insight to where you are.
Yep, we're about 35. I'm in Lowell, which is about 35 minutes north of Boston.
Yep, in a very wintry conditions.
Oh yeah. You guys want to see snow? Yeah.
So thanks very much, Tim. Let's get straight into Cardiff City. Look, Cardiff City are up on Saturday. Give us your rundown. Give us your thoughts.
Yeah, it's going to be one of those ones.
Yeah.
That sums it up in one. This could be one of them games where we either turn up and win 3-0, or we don't turn up and we lose 3-0. That's just West Ham. We're against a bottom team, and we know what we're like. We can easily go away to Man City, to Chelsea, to Liverpool, and grind out a 1-0 win, and then the next week go and lose to a relegation battle team. So it's not going to be easy. They're desperate to stay up. They're not down like the Huddersfield or the Fulham are. They've got a chance of staying up, so they're going to want it. And Neil Warnock always loves to get one over on West Ham because he hates this. Remember, for the old Tevez saga years ago, which he hasn't forgot, and none of us have forgot. So it's also, they're going through an emotional time still with that whole Salah business, in the turn of the year, and I think they're still sort of on that emotional roller coaster still. So it's going to be something big. They're going to want to stay up as well, just for that as well. So it's going to be a tough game.
Yeah, and do you know what? Like I didn't even think we were maybe going to mention that tonight, but do you know what? It's not a bad thing because It's a very emotional situation, but on top of that, he was a marquee signing. He was their major signing in that market, and now that position is null and void. So rest in peace to Salah, of course, and it's a horrible situation that was in. Is that going to have a knock-on effect for them, Tim? What's your thoughts? I mean, do things like that play the mindset for the rest of the season, or does that knock the players and the fans and the teams into this whole kind of let's get behind Cardiff and let's support and try our best to do it for.
Generally speaking, yes. But in Cardiff's case, they're one step above shit. Pardon my language. They're lucky to be where they are right now. They only have 3 players that scare me, and one of them, Sol Bamba, is their leader, and he's injured. He won't even be playing this match, so I'm not scared whatsoever for our team. I mean, yes, like Luke was saying, listen, inconsistency is West Ham's way. I mean, that's the way it's been over the last few years. They have the best players on paper, most of the time, and yet they'll, like you said, they'll lose to the worst team, and they'll put it in a real run-in against the top teams. But for example, I really think that there's no way that we can lose this match. I really don't. I mean, like I said, with no Sol Bamba, and they only have 2 other threats on the team, really, and one of them is a midfielder. So I really think this should be a thrashing. And if you look at their record, I mean, their last 3 matches have been horrible. They're on a horrible run, really bad, and I don't see them getting out of it. With all the emotions, like you said, of the solid everything, and with that and losing Sol Bamba, man, they're in a tough spot.
Tim, I mean, it's and you know this yourself. Everyone knows this as a West Ham fan. It's like we come up against these teams sometimes. Things are just not going so well for them, and then we do this whole kind of enter West Ham. When you need a victory more than ever, when a team needs a victory more than ever, when a player needs to score a goal because they haven't scored a goal for a year, up steps West Ham, and we provide that opportunity for that opposition team. Although, we'll come on to it. I mean, people can contradictorily say, well, this is the Pellegrini effect and Pellegrini's making changes. We'll come on to West Ham in a minute. How important for West Ham or important a player is Bamba for Cardiff? Luke?
Well, he was their top scorer so far this year, which kind of tells you a lot about the way they're set up this season. He scored 4 goals, which is a joint with, I think it's Bobby Reid as well, and then Patterson, who isn't even a natural striker. He's a right back, forced to play up front, which just tells you how they needed Salah. Basically, he would have been the perfect option for him. But now with Sam Bamba out, not only are they going to have a real threat from like set pieces, free kicks, corners, etc., and also at the back, that's missing. So they're going to want to try and compensate for that by defending even more, possibly even putting a player in that isn't a defender. And then they're going to lose that threat they've got up top, so it makes their lives a hell of a lot easier. Yeah. And in saying that, the West Ham fan in me goes, yes, but we're not going to make it easy for ourselves. So they can have all their players injured, have all the youth team in, and we're still going to make a tough job of it. But hopefully we won't. Absolutely.
They've played 29 games this season. They've won 7, lost 18. They've scored 25 goals, but they have conceded 57. Is that something that we really need to, that's their Achilles heel? Is that something we really need to go for, Tim, against Cardiff?
I believe so. And I feel that, the tide maybe has turned. I mean, maybe we can go on a run here, for once. And I feel that, with Pellegrini's attacking mentality, I think this is a perfect match for him to go out there and have us show what we can do. And especially, he's talking about potentially putting in, Antonio for, potentially for Snodgrass, and making the change for Nasri for Lanzini. I mean, that even if that's not true, I mean, I still think that we have the players to destroy them. I don't really get to say that much ever, and that's why I was like, thank God I get to talk about this Cardiff match, man, because for once I can say, yes, we're actually going to go out and kill them. For once I'm actually optimistic about this. And it's because of Pellegrini, man. I think the tides turn and his magic will prevail.
Do you know what, Tim? There's an element of that. I mean, I completely agree with you, because I feel like we're going into these games more than ever. I mean, if it was this time last year and we had come off a good victory against Newcastle and possibly got a victory over Man City, I'd have gone into this game a bit like the mentality that we started off the show with, up step West Ham against the Cardiff City. But I do have that, Pellegrini gives me that just optimism. He gives me that optimism. He is proving on several occasions through this season that he sees it's important that we beat the teams in and around us, but on top of that, we give the big teams a game. Now, we have hit up and down in form throughout the season, but look, I mean, has he turned the tide of the West Ham opinion, Pellegrini?
Well, look, I mean, Mark Noble was on TalkSport today. He was talking about, what's Pellegrini done since he come in. And apparently in the summer, he just walked in with the players and said, look, you've been fighting relegation for the last couple of years, whatever. You're kind of known as a yo-yo club or a bit as someone who doesn't really achieve very much in the higher echelons of the league. That's all got to change. Now we've got to start pushing for Europe. Now we've got to try and start fighting and battling in the top half of the league. And it didn't have the best start, let's be honest. The first 4 games, we lost them all, and then it's been up since then. We've kind of gone win, loss, draw, win, loss, draw, win, loss, draw. We can't really find that sort of middle ground. We had that great patch in December with 1 of 4 games. We still lost a few games in that whole seven stretch of games, but there is a change. It was never going to be as kind of easy as I hoped it would be. We've done it in a very West Ham way, which we had a short run in the cups, but we've still managed to be 9th with a possibility of finishing 7th. But we've had a few chances to get there anyway, and we haven't taken them. So it's a 3-year project, and hopefully Pellegrini for the 2 years after this season can start pushing us on more. We start signing a few more players, get rid of a bit more deadwood, and we start pushing on. But I think the Pellegrini effect is in full swing. And I go into a game now. Yes, I'm nervous because it's West Ham, but I look and go, hold on, Pellegrini's the manager. That team, his team. I'm less nervous than I would be with, say, David Moyes or Bilic has been in the last few years,
Add to that comment about Mark Noble, we had Kenny Brown on. So if any of you haven't watched, make sure you do subscribe to the channel and have a look at our recent video we did with ex-pro Kenny Brown. And he talks in the show about the Pellegrini effect, and he speaks to the coaches, and in particular Steve Potts, legend of West Ham. And he mentions that Pellegrini has a conversation. He's in the know of all the levels, under 23s, down, development squad 23s, 21s, 20s, 19s, 18s. He's really changing the mindset of the coaches, the players, where they want to go, what they want to achieve. And he's apparently extremely well respected. Now, this is what I say the word apparently, but we're taking this information from an ex-pro, so we've got to take that as part of something, and that's a positive. But to hear that as a West Ham fan, yesterday when we done that show it was like a breath of fresh air. It really, really was. And it's a bit like, you can kind of forgive the results against Wimbledon. You can forgive that because you think to yourself, Pellegrini's building something here and he's got the right mentality to move West Ham forward. Tim, any thoughts on what I've just said?
Yeah, and I really hope it is true, because you have someone like Nathan Holland, who is, for me, one of our future stars, down there in the 23s. And we have a couple others that, like we saw with Ben Johnson, man. I really feel that we have guys down there, and I hope they end up getting the chance for their future. I can see the future coming through the academy again, and I really hope it's true.
Sorry.
No, I said I really hope that's true.
All right, sorry, yeah, no, excellent. So I suppose we come off a fantastic victory. One player we'll quickly talk about is Lanzini. He played the full 90 minutes. Luke, discuss to me your thoughts on him and moving into this game, because obviously Tim mentioned is there an opportunity here to give Lanzini a rest? Do we want to rest him? What would you do, Luke, in this situation?
Well, there's 2 things you've got to take into account. You've got your momentum, which is basically, he's had 2 sub appearances. He's had 1 90-minute appearance, and it's going, well, if you take him out and then, you stop that cycle of, okay, now I'm back in the team, now I'm getting that 90 minutes in, and you drop him suddenly after what he's done nothing wrong. There was no hint of an injury coming back or anything like that. You're thinking, well, he kind of needs the game time. He needs to be keep. If you're going to start a game and play 90 minutes, you've got to keep starting playing 90 minutes. And unless you're feeling like there's an injury coming again, then it's more the merrier. Yeah. Maybe if you're going to bring Nasri on for him after 70 minutes, 80 minutes, to give him a bit of game time, to get him some match fitness back in, then you do it that way. Yeah. The other thing as well is the fact that he's just been picked for the Argentinian squad again, for the internationals. Yeah. So maybe that's going to give him an extra buzz to go out and show, like, I'm still on form. I'm still buzzing. You know, he's going to be buzzing off that as well. So it's all good. I don't see any reason to drop him unless you're going to go for a massive tactical change. I don't think we will do. So yeah, bring him back in. Keep playing him. Just keep giving his form up. Hopefully, he gets a goal this week as well.
And you've just got to look at West Ham's bench from the last couple of games. I mean, for the first time in a long time, we're starting to have strength in our depth in our squad. Players are coming back from injury. We've got the debate going online about Chicharito over Arnautovic. Tim, what's your thoughts on that debate in particular?
I'd be happy with either. However, I'd be more happy to keep Chicharito in there. Like Luke was saying, to keep the momentum going with what we got. Although he hasn't scored a lot of goals, he's been moving about and taking the eyes and the mind off of the other players in the pitch, especially like a Lanzini and Anderson. I would love to see Lanzini get some more playing time, obviously because of the internationals and stuff like that. But at the same time, I don't want to rush him into things. I felt that he should have been subbed off in the 75th minute for Nasri last match. I really do, because he was looking a lot rusty and quite tired near the end, even though he still put in some magnificent work. But I felt that they could have rested. They didn't need him out there for 90 minutes last game. But that's last game.
Yeah.
But anyway, I don't see why. This rumor is putting Antonio in because he was rested for the Newcastle game because of his shoulder. But putting him in for Snodgrass, and I would love to still see Snodgrass out there, though, man. He's a workhorse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something like that on the pitch, man. I mean, I don't know.
Well, just to give you guys a bit of context, West Ham have won 8 of the last 10 games against Cardiff. Last time we played them away in January 2014, we won 2-0 away. Last time out, though, at the London Stadium, we beat them 3-1. For me, unfortunately, I missed the game, couldn't even see the game, and this weekend I can't even see the game again, so I'm hoping that's a good omen for the weekend and we can get a result. But when it comes to team selection, and we have seen this several times throughout the season, we don't get the regular, we can sit here and predict what he is going to do, Mr. Pellegrini. He's come off a fantastic result against Newcastle. He's coming up against a team that are desperate for a result, but are not playing well, have lost their best players. West Ham have players coming back from fitness, add Balbuena to that mix as well. Does Pellegrini change it like he did after the Huddersfield game earlier in the season before he went onto that run and go for a different formation and go all out and put Arnie and Chicharito up top? It's maybe the similar boring old chat that I come up with, but that's been 2 or 3 games now. Arnautovic is back. 2 or 3 games that he's looked decent when he's come off the bench. I'm Chicharito's biggest fan, of course. Look, what do you do? Do we think that's a no-brainer, that that's not going to happen, or is there an element of Pellegrini you have no idea what he's going to do moving into the next game?
Yeah, there's both elements, which makes my answer quite complicated. to put it straightforward. I think if maybe Lanzini had pulled up with an injury after the Newcastle game and Nasri maybe wasn't looking 100% fit, and you didn't have that kind of central influence, you would probably go, okay, well, we haven't got the entry, we've got Noble and Rice, the sticklers in midfield, so we're going to need to put 2 up front just to kind of almost make numbers up, but not really in that way. I wouldn't be surprised, but then I would be surprised at the same time. I can't say, if it was me personally, I would just keep it how it is, because for me, Arnautovic doesn't deserve to start unless he actually comes on and scores a goal. And that's just because I'm still bitter about his whole pettiness during the window, but that's just me. So don't listen to me that much. I'm just talking on an emotional level. But anyway, standardly, I wouldn't change it personally for me, but he might do. This Pellegrini.
Tim, 9 games to go for West Ham. With everything we've said here about the players, Balbuena's coming back from injury. What do we do for the next 9 games? I mean, I'm looking at the next few. We've got Cardiff away, Huddersfield at home, Everton at home. I mean, there's an opportunity there. There is an opportunity there for 9 points. So now, previously we could have said that and not expected it, but under Pellegrini, we can kind of not expect it, but to at least fight for the opportunity.
Well, mathematically, we have as much of a chance to lose the last 9 games as we do to win the last 9 games, man. So I'm psychotically optimistic that at least 18 points out of everything, and possibly, why not go for 27? Why not go for the kill?
Yeah.
Especially with our manager, and now that our players are coming back healthy, like the key players, let's not go for the draws against the big clubs. Let's go for the kill.
Yeah. For me personally, I mean, I may bore you on this channel, left, right, and centre, but I just want to see something a bit different. And I think West Ham have got the opportunity here to really, Pellegrini, he's got players coming back, and I'm not wanting him to rest certain players, but if he can rest Lanzini and he can afford to rest Lanzini, I think the perfect replacement is Nasri. I mean, there's no ifs or buts about it, but I think the opportunity really comes up top for this game in particular. When Cardiff are leaking goals. And if you think about it with your head and you put Arnautovic, Chicharito, Anderson, Nasri, there's creativity. If Lanzini comes on and plays, there's more creativity. Declan Rice is on form, blocking everything that comes through that place. Mark Noble's hit a bit of form again, as we know. So, and if Antonio's banging in the goals, there's an opportunity here to go and frighten that Cardiff defence, and that's something I want to see. I want to see changes. Anyway, we are held to a bit of a time limit. We've got a couple more minutes before Tim needs to go. So before we do that, Tim, let's hit us up with what are the changes you would like to see first and foremost, and what are the changes you think that may happen?
Heading into this match?
Yeah.
Okay. I would like to see Masuaku for Cresswell. Because he actually showed what he can do. I mean, I talked about this in one of my recent episodes as well, that a lot of people have been slagging off, Masuaku because, he's been inconsistent just like everybody else, really. But he showed that he can play. He can still perform very well. And Cresswell, man, he just got a knock in the head, dude. I would say rest him. I mean, even though he's ready to come back, I mean, I wouldn't push it with him, especially with his toe and everything else. So that would be my main one. And like I said, I would like to see, if Nasri doesn't start, I would love to see him at least get some playing time. Man, he's magic, dude.
Yeah.
So other than that, not much.
Yeah, absolutely. And over to you, Luke.
Well, I was going to say I wouldn't exactly play Masuaku left back, but I would like to see him left wing. But with the current setup, I don't think he's going to have a chance. But you're right. I mean, last week he was going up the wing in an attacking position, and it got the crowd up a little bit, and Newcastle didn't know how to handle him, and that is exactly my point in regards to Masuaku. But I can't agree with him. Even a half-fit, brain wobbled Creswell is, for me, more reliable at left back than Masuaku.
Against
it's all
Cardiff?
opinions. Well, this is like I said earlier, it's West Ham, so against any team it frightens me.
Tim makes a valid point though, because maybe the Masuaku chance, his last ever chance at Claret and Blue to start in this position, is come up a crop. If he comes up a crop against Cardiff, we know his career at West Ham is done.
Hopefully.
Although we actually think his career probably is done at the club. Let's just get straight down to it.
Also, by the way, before we forget, Balbuena come back last night for the under-23s unscathed and looks to be at least on the bench against Cardiff. By the way, that would be the one change. Not put him in for Bonner straight away, but that would be a potential for a change in the team.
Listen, I'm the biggest slagger of Bonner you can get that ever exists. Ever since
wasn't even going to mention that.
No, but
wasn't even going to mention that.
And I'm even going to make the biggest bold statement here. Ever since he has signed, he's been a calamity, and I think he's hit the form of his West Ham career currently. He didn't even play that great in the last ever season at Upton Park, so I don't buy that. He was carried by Winston Reid. Anyway, the last 3 or 4 games in particular, he has hit his form of his West Ham career. So therefore, I can turn up and put my hand up and say he deserved to keep his position. I don't want West Ham players to underperform, but I can't help but think that will soon happen, and therefore Balbuena will step straight back in.
Cannot wait for him to fuck up.
I never want a West Ham player to fuck up, so let's hope he doesn't. I'm happy for him to continue his position just now. Anyway, Tim, we're held to a tight schedule. We've only got a minute of you left. Go for it. What's your predictions for the game on Saturday?
5-1.
Wow.
5-1.
Yes.
If you look at Everton, somebody beat him 5-1 or 5-0. So, yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Let's go for the kill.
It's needed. West Ham need a big one.
Yeah, they do. They need to catch up on the goal differential. So, yeah, let's do it.
Look, you look like you're shitting yourself for this prediction.
Do you know what? I'm speechless. 5-1 would be amazing. And to be fair, now you said that to him, I might put a bet on the weekend.
Oh,
I think you've inspired me to put a bet on, actually, just to go. If I don't do it now, I'll be really pissed off myself. But who's going to score for Cardiff? Because if they're so shit, why are they getting a goal? That's what I'm interested in.
Bobby Reid, man, I was saying there was 3 players that scare me, and one of them is Bobby Reid, man.
Fair enough.
Look,
now he said 5-1. I'm going to say 1-0 West Ham. I know. I would go 3-1, but because he's gone so extravagantly with 5-1, I'm going to go, okay, I'll bring it back. Bring it back to reality. So I'll say 1-0 for this.
Before I give you my predictions, make sure you get your predictions in below. Let us know your thoughts on who you think is going to score the goals, if there's going to be any goals scored, what your predictions are. My prediction for the game is going to be a 2-0 to West Ham, a 2-0 win. We're going to see Chicharito get his goal that he so desperately needs, and oh god, maybe Diop header again, get another goal. So yeah, fingers crossed we get a victory and it will be great. So all the travelling West Ham fans, sing loud and proud. We will listen and hear you, of course. And Tim, listen, mate, I can't thank you enough for coming on. Make sure.
Thank you enough for having me.
Yeah, make sure you subscribe to his channel. All you need to do is go into YouTube. We'll put a link in, but you just have to type in American Hammers TV and just click the link, click subscribe, and you'll get watching their content as well. Again, of course, subscribe to our channel. Follow us all on the social media links. Get behind West Ham. And yeah, that's it. Any last points before we go, guys? No, that's it.
No,
He's been Tim. He's been Luke. I've been Anton. We're Irons United. Come on, you Irons.
Oh.